Dr. Bax, thank you so much for joining us here at the 11-day Power Play here at Roswell. Can you start by just kind of telling us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and why you do what you do?
Sure. So I am from this area. I grew up in Lewiston, New York, and went away for some training, but came back as soon as I was done to join Roswell. That was about 5 years ago. And my primary specialty is dermatology. And then I chose to do post-residency training in something called Mohs surgery, and that's a specific procedure to remove types of skin cancers. But yeah, I'm a Buffalo native and definitely knew I always wanted to come back, and with what I did, it was just a natural fit to come back and be a part of the Roswell team.
So today we're going to talk about skin cancer and certain ways that people can try to prevent it from happening. Can you maybe share a little bit about that first? What people should be concerned about with skin cancer?
Sure. So skin is pretty unique. It's obviously the most accessible organ and something that's so easy for us to look at and to notice anything new or changing. And that's really the most important thing when it comes to awareness. Skin screening should be a part of any routine history and physical done by primary care doctors as just a method to screen the patient. If there's a suspicious lesion, to refer them to a dermatologist. It's tough on primary care doctors because they have so many other things to deal with and manage at the same time. So it's really the patient's responsibility as well to do skin screening. And that's as simple as literally just getting to know your skin, looking at your skin and monitoring for changes. If something's growing, if it's itching, if it's bleeding, those are signs that you should have it checked by a dermatologist and you should get an appointment. Because those could be signs of early skin cancer. Not always, but it's a lot easier to have it looked at and evaluated and decide, well, actually this isn't anything to worry about, than putting something off and have it be something that is concerning that was just put off because you didn't want to schedule an appointment. And when it comes to evaluating skin lesions and diagnosing skin cancer, a skin biopsy is about as simple of a procedure as it gets. So it's something that's very simple to do in the office under local anesthesia and something that is very easy to do and critical for the diagnosis of skin cancer.
Lotions during the summertime, obviously really important. And then awareness. Is there anything else that anybody can do to prevent skin cancer?
Sure, yeah, so most skin cancers, not all, but the overwhelming majority are sun-related, and we don't understand the entire relationship on how they form or why they form, but we most certainly know that sun plays a critical role. And to be honest, it is as easy as protecting yourself from the sun. And that goes as far as, first and foremost, we recommend a physical barrier. So a wide-brimmed hat, long sleeves, long pants, which always isn't as easy to do as we wish to believe. Especially in Buffalo here when we have a lot of beautiful areas to enjoy the outdoors. We do have to be smart about the sun. So if you can't avoid the sun and you're going to be out in the sun, it's definitely sunscreen is the next best bet. And we recommend an SPF of at least 30. And make sure you're putting enough on, repeating the application about every 2 hours, and even more frequently if you're going to be sweating or getting it wet in water. And those methods, if you're able to do those things, you'll do a pretty good job at preventing skin cancer. But even still, there are some skin cancers that will present even taking all those precautions.
So as far as research, this is a research hospital. What type of research advances have you seen in recent years? Is there anything that sticks out to you that was eye-opening and a breakthrough when it comes to skin cancer?
Sure. There are a lot of different types of skin cancer, the most common being basal cell carcinoma. There are millions of basal cell carcinomas diagnosed every year. Squamous cell is probably next most common, and then after that is melanoma. And of those three, melanoma has the potential to be the most aggressive. And there has been a lot of breakthroughs with melanoma research over the years in terms of diagnosing it earlier, preventing its spread, and once it has spread, improving the treatments that we have available for it. And Dr. Ernstoff and the melanoma oncology team here has been instrumental in performing those studies and seeing those patients and seeing how groundbreaking that research has been to improving outcomes in patients with advanced melanoma. What I'm excited for in the coming years is the research that's going into squamous cell carcinoma. That, while it's not as common as basal cell, has the potential to be more aggressive if it's not diagnosed early. So squamous cell is a cancer that, because it's not as common as melanoma, or at least the bad squamous cells aren't as common as how bad melanoma can be, there's not as much research going into it, but the tide is starting to turn on that, and we are seeing more medications become available for treating that earlier and having better outcomes for more advanced squamous cell carcinoma.
How important is it for the community to support research efforts, donations that come through the 11-day power play and the Ride for Roswell? How important are those donations?
Totally, yeah. The community support, nothing that we do here would be possible without that tremendous support. And the 11-day power play, the Ride for Roswell are just two examples of how we've seen this amazing Western New York community really show up and support Roswell and show like why we're the city of good neighbors. And I've seen firsthand how important that funding is and that fundraising is for supporting our mission here at Roswell. And it certainly would not be possible without the hard work of the 11-day power play and everyone involved, because there's really, if you look at it, there's no one in this area or anywhere really that hasn't been touched by cancer, whether it be you yourself, a family member, a friend, a neighbor. It's everywhere, and it touches everyone regardless of race, color, ethnicity, social status. It doesn't discriminate. So seeing the outpouring support from the community has just been amazing.
Well, congratulations to you and your team here. I hear Roswell is ranked number 14 in the entire country for cancer care. That's got to be a pretty good feeling.
It is. It's a tremendous honor. And it really comes down to what our mission is here, and that's really providing high quality patient care and putting the patients first. When you do that, everything else just follows, and it just comes naturally. And it wouldn't be possible without everyone buying into that and really putting patients first. And once you do that, the rest just comes easy.
We have a lot of players that play in our event, a couple thousand. They work hard all year fundraising, but also getting ready physically for their challenge, their 3-hour challenges on the ice this year, street hockey outside at Riverworks. Sure. Is there a message or something that you want to share with the players today?
We all love outdoor activities, and with that comes a little bit of caution, but you don't have to be scared of the sun. It really just comes down to being smart about exposure, avoiding the peak hours if you can, that being from about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So going out a little earlier, a little later if you can. And if you can't, then just wearing your sunscreen, wearing some protective clothing. They're getting a lot better with the technology going into that clothing, so it's not as warm or occlusive as some of the older sun protective clothing has been. So just invest in some good sun protective clothing and a good sunscreen that you like and that you'll put on. I'm guilty of forgetting it sometimes as well, but something that you like and you'll remember to put on goes a long way at prevention.
Well, we do have a rooftop over us this summer, awesome. At Riverworks, so that'll be helpful. But great advice from you today. And is there anything else that you'd like to share, or do you think we covered all the bases as far as ways to prevent skin cancer?
No, I think we covered everything. And most importantly, if you have a concern, just call and get an appointment with a dermatologist to have whatever it is, that lesion checked.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.